Hello, you are watching This Week in Student Government. I'm Jory Palmer. Today we discuss SGA legislation and we visit with the Public Relations Student Society representative, Nicole Romes. All this coming up next. This is the first full year Cameron University has had a Public Relations Society on campus. Nicole Romes, SGA representative for PRSS, joins us to talk about the organization. Hello, Nicole. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
Now, who actually founded PRSS?
Well, the idea was brought to us when Dr. Paul Crandon came to the campus last fall. We started the PRSS with about 8 members, all PR majors. Jen Biles was our first president last year, and I took over for her over the summer.
What are some things that PRSS have been involved with this year?
This year we have started a student-run PR firm where we worked for the Lawton Fort Sill Cavalry basketball team, and we hope to pick up a few more accounts before the year ends. We've also brought in several guest speakers so our students can see how public relations is practiced in the outside world.
Now, the Cavalry was actually part of Aggie Impressions.
Yes, that's the student-run PR firm, is called Aggie Impressions because we wanted to keep it separate from the Public Relations Student Society. So you don't have to be in Aggie Impressions if you just want to be a member of PRSS.
Does that work for the flip side as well? Are the people in Impressions obviously in PRSS, or do they not?
You actually have to be a member of PRSS to be in Aggie Impressions.
Okay. What experience do PR students gain by working with Aggie Impressions?
Well, you gain hands-on experience in how to work PR in the real world.
Now, some of our viewers may not really understand what a PR firm is. Can you kind of explain the background on that?
Well, a PR firm can handle PR procedures for any organization. Right now we're looking at other organizations like the Lawton Philharmonic Orchestra or the Special Olympics. So really, every industry out there has PR professionals, and we just want to expose our students to any kind we can.
What are some specific things that you do? I know press releases and...
We assist with the press conferences they held and any statements they made to the press, naturally. We also assisted in helping them build a fan base.
Okay. Now, as a member of PRSS, you are their representative in SGA. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about your job as SGA representative?
As a representative, I go to the meetings. If there's legislation I would like to see passed, I can help write it and present it to SGA, and naturally I would vote on legislation presented by other representatives and senators.
Right. What are some pieces of legislation that were discussed at Monday's meeting?
Monday, a piece of legislation about a dress code for SGA meetings was talked about and actually did not pass.
Okay.
And the other piece of legislation presented was about renaming the Aggie Gym to the Aggie Arena.
Okay, now our reporter Amanda Finch got some footage from the meeting, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about that.
Every semester, CUSGA gears up for a trip to the state capitol to participate in the Oklahoma Intercollegiate Legislative Conference. Students from universities all over Oklahoma gather for 5 days to practice mock legislation in the Senate and House chambers. Here, student senators and representatives learn about how the legislative system works. Kara Kennedy is a sophomore who is currently serving as SGA's historian. Kara attended an OIL conference last year and plans to attend again this semester.
This year we have to have our interviews and stuff to say if we're going or not, because we do have a bigger group this year who wants to go, so we're going to have that. But then while we're there, I'm really excited. I'm hoping to look forward to listening more to the gun bill. I've heard it failed, but then again it could always come back up, so I'm really looking forward to hearing more about that. But also different problems on different campuses, because our problems aren't the same as someone at OU or something, so it's interesting to hear those.
This year, OIL will be on April 15th through 19th. If you are interested in learning more about OIL, stop by the Student Government Office in the Student Activities Building for more information. This week in SGA, senators and representatives moved into second reading on legislation calling for a professional dress code at CUSGA meetings. When moved to a vote, the piece of legislation failed. In new business, Joshua Oates and Matt Neese presented legislation calling for the renaming of the Aggie Gymnasium to the Aggie Arena. The authors claim that the Aggie Gym is too often confused with the fitness center. They believe that the term arena is more modern for a place where college basketball and volleyball is played. The authors also request that the letters on the building be replaced with more modern lettering. The legislation will move into second reading next week. For This Week in SGA, I'm Amanda Finch.
Okay, thank you. Now, the first thing she talked about was the dress code and why that failed. Can you give me your opinion on the dress code legislation?
Well, a lot of people there were wearing jeans and t-shirts, and that was what the legislation was supposed to prevent. So obviously those people were not going to vote for it.
Oh, the people presenting the legislation were
No,
wearing.
the people voting. The senators and representatives that were sitting out there voting were wearing casual attire.
Now, the idea for the legislation was to bring more spirit to the meetings, and maybe you can wear jeans and t-shirts as long as you wear Aggie apparel. What was the problem with that?
Well, they were wanting a more professional atmosphere, so they wanted the students to wear business attire or Cameron gear.
Why do you feel that students wouldn't want to dress up for a meeting?
Well, why would you want to go home and change after you've been in class all days?
Right.
Where I was going with it, anyway.
It's kind of a time constraint.
Yes.
Do you think that it failed mostly because kids just didn't want to change?
Yeah, I do.
Now, some of the other legislation was brought up, a new piece of legislation. Can you tell us about that?
Well, that was to rename the Aggie Gym to the Aggie Arena, and the gentleman who brought that legislation think that the Aggie Gym is too similar a name to the fitness center, and that it confuses people that are new to the campus. One of the presenters actually said he was at the fitness center waiting for friends when they were at the gym waiting for him, and he never knew where to go, which one was which. So he thinks renaming it the Aggie Arena will help direct people to where our sporting events take place. And also all of the other schools in the Lone Star Conference, none of them are called a gym. It's all arenas or coliseums.
What is the name of the fitness center?
I thought it was just the fitness center.
So we don't really know why
We
they're
don't
getting
know.
confused. Do you think maybe it's because there are multiple basketball courts that's really where the confusion is?
I think so, yes.
Do you think that renaming it's going to help the problem at all?
I don't know if it will or not, because I wasn't confused about it, so I didn't see the problem. But that was.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your insight on the legislation. That's all the time we have for this edition of This Week in Student Government. We would like to encourage you to tune into this show along with other CU TV programming on YouTube. Simply type CU Internet TV with no spaces and click search. On behalf of Dr. Matt Jenkins and the CU TV crew, I'm Jory Palmer. Thanks for watching and have a great week.